airlines are hiding something from you. The moment you step onto that plane, there are 11 moves, 11 specific actions that separate the passengers who arrive exhausted, sick, and ripped off, from the ones who land feeling like they just hacked the entire system. And number 7 is borderline illegal, but completely allowed. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what flight attendants do on their own flights, and what they're specifically trained not to tell you. Let's expose this. Number 1. The bacterial nightmare. Okay, so you sit down. You're relieved. You found your seat, you beat the overhead bin chaos, and you're ready to relax. But here's what just happened. You just sat down on a surface that hasn't been properly cleaned in weeks, maybe months. I'm not exaggerating. The University of Arizona tested airplane cabins and found something horrifying. Your tray table has 8 times more bacteria per square inch than a public toilet seat. 8 times! Think about that. The place where you're about to eat your snack? Dirtier than a gas station bathroom. Here's why. Airlines have 15 to 30 minutes between flights to turn the cabin. In that time, they restock snacks, check safety gear, and do a visual sweep. What they don't do? Sanitize every surface you're about to touch. So here's your first insider move, and it takes 45 seconds. Bring disinfectant wipes. Wipe these surfaces before you sit down. Tray tabletop and latch. Armrests and recline buttons. Seatbelt buckle. Touchscreen. Air vent dial. Window shade handle. Pro tip: do this while you're still standing. It's faster, less awkward, and you won't have to reach over people later. And if you're over 60, your immune system takes longer to bounce back from travel illness. This one move could save your entire trip. But wait, because what I'm about to show you next literally creates an invisible shield around your face. Number 2. The air vent secret. That little overhead nozzle, the one most people either shut off or blast directly at their face, that's not just an air vent, it's a defense system. Harvard researchers discovered that when positioned correctly, that gasper creates an air curtain, a literal invisible barrier that pushes contaminated particles away from your breathing zone. But here's the trick almost everyone gets wrong. They either turn it off completely because it feels cold, or they aim it directly at their face, which dries out their skin and eyes. Here's the genius move. Set it to medium flow and angle it slightly in front of your face, not on your face. This creates optimal germ protection without discomfort. Do it before your row fills up. Reaching across seated passengers later? Awkward. And that's just the beginning, because what I'm about to reveal could literally save your life. Number 3. The 90-second survival rule. How long do you have to evacuate a plane in an emergency? Take a guess. The FAA requires every aircraft to evacuate fully in 90 seconds or less. That's hundreds of people, in smoke, in darkness, in total panic. 90 seconds. Here's the trap. Most passengers assume that because they've flown before, they know where the exits are. Wrong. Every plane is different. Exit locations, door types, even the number of rows between exits changes by aircraft model. So here's what smart passengers do the second they sit down. Count the rows to your 2 nearest exits, one forward, one behind. Physically look at those doors. Picture yourself opening them. In 2005, Air France Flight 358 skidded off a Toronto runway and burst into flames. Passengers who had mentally rehearsed their escape routes survived. Those who froze in confusion didn't move fast enough. This 10-second habit seems paranoid until it saves your life. Now, here's where most travelers completely screw up their luggage game. Number 4. The overhead bin hack. You know what slows down every boarding process? People shoving bags into overhead bins with zero strategy. They place them sideways, waste space, and block everyone behind them. Here's the system flight attendants use. Place rolling bags wheels first. This cuts space usage in half compared to laying them flat. Backpacks go under the seat in front of you. Don't waste overhead space. Here's the genius part. Put your bag in the bin on the opposite side of your seat. When you deplane, you reach across and grab it without fighting the crowd in your row. Pro tip: keep a small essentials pouch ready. headphones, meds, charger, glasses. Slip it into the seat pocket so you're not digging through overhead bins mid-flight. But speaking of that seat pocket, do not put these items in there. Number 5. The black hole trap. That mesh pocket in front of you? It's a black hole. Every month, thousands of passports, wallets, credit cards, and phones get turned into airline lost and found. Most were forgotten in seat pockets. Items slide deep into the fabric, get crushed by magazines, or just disappear entirely. Here's your move. Keep all valuables in a zippered pouch in your personal item or jacket pocket. Never trust the seat pocket with anything you can't afford to lose. Pro tip for overnight flights. Set up your comfort gear. Neck pillow, eye mask, headphones before takeoff so you're not disturbing seatmates later by standing up and rummaging in the dark. And here's another item to keep handy. A pen, especially for international flights. You'll look like a genius when everyone else is begging the flight attendants for one. By the way, if these insider secrets are blowing your mind, smash that subscribe button. We're exposing what airlines don't want you to know every single week. All right, back to the secrets. Number 6. The desert inside the plane. Here's something airlines will never announce. At cruising altitude, the cabin humidity drops to 10 to 20%. For context, the Sahara Desert averages around 25%. You're literally sitting in an environment drier than one of the driest places on Earth. Your body dehydrates faster than you realize. Headaches, fatigue, dry skin, jet lag amplification. That tiny cup of water they hand you once during a 5-hour flight? Nowhere near enough. Here's the insider move. Start hydrating the second you sit down. Not coffee, not soda. Those actually dehydrate you more. Plain water, sipped steadily. Pro tip: bring an empty reusable bottle through security and fill it before boarding. You're not waiting for flight attendants and you're staying ahead of dehydration. For travelers over 60, dehydration affects circulation and medication effectiveness. Add electrolyte tablets to your water. Ready to optimize your space like a pro? Here's how. Number 7. The comfort customization secret. Most passengers just plop down and accept whatever awkward position the seat offers. Smart travelers take control immediately. Adjust the headrest wings inward to cradle your head. It prevents neck strain during naps. No wings? Roll up a scarf or jacket for neck support. Tuck a pillow or rolled jacket behind your lower back. Airplane seats are built for cost, not comfort. Queue up your in-flight entertainment right now because systems freeze or reboot mid-flight, and you'll avoid that frustration. Here's an underrated move. Test your seat recline before takeoff so you know your range and won't shock the person behind you later. Pro tip: keep medications in your personal item under the seat, not overhead. You want immediate access. But here's something even smarter to do before you settle in. Number 8. The social advantage. Here's a move most travelers completely skip. A quick hello to your seatmates. You're not launching into life stories, just a smile, a hello, maybe a heading home. Why does this matter? If you need to get up later, it's way less awkward to ask someone you've already greeted. Sometimes these brief exchanges lead to business connections, travel tips, even friendships. The key? Balance. Start with light conversation, then signal boundaries with headphones or a book. Pro tip for seniors: mentioning you may need to stand occasionally for circulation gives seatmates a heads up and avoids repeated apologies. Now here's how to beat jet lag before the plane even takes off. Number 9. The time warp trick. Want to know the secret to beating jet lag? Change your watch to your destination's time the moment you board. This tiny mental shift signals your brain to start adjusting before the wheels even leave the ground. If it's nighttime at your destination, dim your screens, close the shade, put on an eye mask, and act like it's bedtime, even if it's noon where you departed. If it's daytime at your destination, stay alert with screen brightness, keep the shade open, and avoid napping. Some frequent flyers even wear blue light blocking glasses on overnight flights to trick their circadian rhythm faster. Pro tip for travelers over 60. Age makes circadian adjustment harder. Start shifting your sleep schedule 2 days before departure if possible. And speaking of adjustments, Here's what to notice before takeoff. Number 10. The Attendant Awareness Advantage. Here's what smart passengers observe immediately: where the nearest lavatories are located and which flight attendants are assigned to their section. Why does this matter? If turbulence hits mid-flight, you will know the closest restroom without awkwardly wandering the aisle. And identifying your section's crew means you know exactly who to ask when you need water, blankets, or help. Here's the insider truth. Flight attendants remember passengers who smiled and said thank you at boarding. Be polite and attentive early, and you'll get better service throughout the flight. Pro tip: use the restroom before meal service starts. Once those carts roll out, you're trapped until service ends. Now, the final move, the one even frequent flyers miss, but could literally be the difference between life and death. Number 11. The Mental Rehearsal Protocol. This is the habit nobody talks about, but it could save your life. A 10-second mental rehearsal of your emergency plan. It sounds intense, but here's why it matters. Check your seatbelt is secure. Remind yourself where both exits are. Picture in your mind how you'd move if evacuation became necessary. Psychologists call this mental rehearsal, and studies prove it dramatically improves reaction speed during real emergencies. U.S. Airways Flight 1549, the Miracle on the Hudson. Passengers who mentally prepared and paid attention evacuated the sinking plane faster. In freezing water, every second mattered. Here's what airlines won't say. Most passengers tune out safety briefings entirely, assuming they'll figure it out if something happens. In an emergency, panic kills. Preparation saves. Take 10 seconds. Visualize, locate. Check, you may never need it. But if you do, those 10 seconds are priceless. So, which one surprised you most? Have you ever used one and had it save your flight? Drop it in the comments. I'm curious to know. Want to know what TSA officers are really thinking when they pull you aside? That video's next. It's eye-opening. See you there.